This is Film Rich, and today we're breaking down Marvel's The Punisher Season 2 Episode 2. As Frank Castle and Amy Bendick stay on the move, new enemies close in. Billy Russo begins his recovery, and Frank Castle once again finds himself trapped in escalating violence. As always, before we get into this episode, I would like to remind everyone to please like, share and subscribe for more content. Now, let's get into it scene by scene. Leaving Michigan behind, Frank Castle and Amy arrive in Larkville, Ohio. Amy books them a room at the Tides Motel. Once inside, Frank forces Amy to remove the bullet from his wound and stitch him up, despite her disgust. Exhausting from driving all night, Frank prepares to sleep, but not before tying Amy to the bed to stop her from escaping. Back in New York, Dinah Madani visits Billy Russo in the hospital. This time, Russo awakens. To Madani's disbelief, Russo claims he does not know who she is. Dr. Krista Dumont explains that Russo's traumatic injuries caused serious brain damage, leaving him unable to remember recent years of his life. Madani remains deeply suspicious, believing Russo may be pretending. Meanwhile, Beth is recovering in the hospital. John Pilgrim visits her room and threatens to harm her son, unless she reveals information about Frank. Fearful for her child, Beth gives Pilgrim's Frank alias, Peter Castiglione. Pilgrim's hacker tracks the name to a nearby hotel in Larkville. The motel, Frank interrogates Amy about who she is. Amy refuses to tell him the truth, even after Frank discovers suspicious film canisters in her possession. Expecting more mercenaries soon, Frank ties Amy up once again and rents a second motel room. He then uses a crowbar to create an opening between the two rooms as part of a defensive setup. Krista Dumont continues therapy sessions with Billy Russo. Russo describes reoccurring nightmares and discusses the fractured memories haunting him. The skull imagery that dominates his nightmares suggests severe psychological trauma. Madani meets with Rafael Hernandez, who expresses concern over her continued involvement with Russo. Hernandez reminds her that Russo's case now belongs to the NYPD and her personal investment could compromise any legal proceedings. Madani is frustrated but leaves. That night, Frank spots Marlena mercenaries crew outside the hotel. Preparing an ambush, Frank uses his second room to outmaneuver the attackers. When the mercenaries storm the room, Frank kills or incapacitates multiple assistants. When Frank battles additional threats, Marlena corners Amy directly. Frank intervenes, knocking Olin down and attempting to capture her. However, Olin regains consciousness and shoots Frank in the arm. Frank manages to wound Olin in return. During the chaos, Amy attempts to steal Frank's van and flee. Before she can escape, local Larkville County Sheriff's officers stop her and arrest her. Frank and Olin are also taken into custody. At the sheriff's station, Frank and Olin receive medical treatment while Amy gives Sheriff Roy her version of events, portraying Frank as a captor. Hardin remains skeptical of all sides and orders them all detained while their identities are processed. Pilgrim's hacker quickly learns that Amy, Frank and Olin have all been arrested and taken to the local station. Pilgrim immediately moves to complete his mission. Using his one phone call, Frank contacts Dinah Madani and asks for help. Madani refuses, unwilling to become involved again. Sheriff Hardin questions Frank, charging him with multiple murders. Frank warns that everyone in the station is in danger and insists that they must release the subordinates. Hardin dismisses the warning. Moments later, John Pilgrim arrives at the sheriff's station. With Frank trapped, Amy cornered, and Pilgrim closing in, what began as a road trip for survival is quickly turning into a full-scale siege. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like the video and subscribe to Film Rich for more detailed recaps. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.